There are four main categories of these tools, and these four are number one, basic tools, number two, intermediate tools, number three, advanced tools, and the last one is specialized or high level tools. So, first off, we have basic tools, and under this category, we have four different types, which are for communication and meetings, second, calendar and scheduling, third, for file storage and sharing, and the fourth is basic office tools. So the first type of tools for basic is for communication and meetings. And we have three different ways to communicate and conduct or attend meetings. And these are first is via email. So we have two ways which are the most popular. The first one is Gmail and the second one is Outlook. Okay, one important thing that you have to consider when creating your Gmail account or your email address using Gmail is you have to make sure that you have your name in it. Don't use different characters, don't use any anonymous names or whatsoever. Use your name or make sure you have your name in the address. For example, this one, this is my email address, contactlou@gmail.com. Why? Because it's one of the ways to be professional. And I'm going to walk you through some cool features of Gmail. So if you click on these 9 dots, you will see different apps and features. Let's click this one to access our emails. Okay, after creating your professional email address, the next thing that you have to do is create a signature. And your signature should include your name on top and your contact numbers and your email address. And then here below, you can have different features like this one, schedule send, formatting options, this one for attaching files. This one is for the links that you want to insert. If you want to add emojis, this one is the feature or the icon. And the next one is inserting files using Drive. If you want to insert photos, you can use this one. Toggle confidential mode. And then if you want to insert your e-signature, and there are some other options there. And Gmail has a ton of features and functionalities. These are just the basics. So if you don't have an Outlook account yet, go ahead and create your free account on their website. So what are the big differences between Gmail and Outlook? Here we can see one is Gmail's interface is generally considered more intuitive and minimalist, while Outlook's interface, though feature-rich, can appear cluttered and has a steeper learning curve. So to put it simply, Gmail is much easier to use, and Outlook is a bit more complicated. And another big difference between the two is this one. So Gmail boasts thousands of available add-ons through the Google Workspace Marketplace, significantly enhancing its capabilities compared to Outlook's more limited selection of add-ins, meaning Gmail is broader than Outlook when it comes to accessibility, features, and so on. So Gmail is a sure winner here. But I've heard that Outlook is better or more suitable to big businesses because it offers a deeper integration with Microsoft 365, more robust organizational tools, and advanced security features. So this is particularly for not just ordinary businesses, but big businesses. So based on my initial experience creating a free account itself, it's way more complicated. Next is mainly for video and audio meetings. So Zoom first, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, and Skype. I believe that Skype was officially integrated into Microsoft Teams. So this is my Zoom, and it has free and paid plans. So next is Google Meet. So you can see your Google Meet on your Google account. You just have to click on these 3 or 9 dots, and it's here. So instead of using Zoom, some clients prefer Google Meet. And this is my Microsoft Teams. So just like Zoom and Google Meet, you can also have your video or audio meetings using this platform. You can also have your chat, your communities, a calendar, activity, and so on. So if you don't have your Slack account yet, you may go ahead and create one. And there are free and paid versions. So that's all for communication and meetings. And now let's go to the tools for calendar and scheduling. Okay, now before we go over these calendar tools, I just like to remind you that you don't need to be an expert at using these tools. All you need to do is to get yourself familiar and have enough experience and exposure using these tools. But you don't need to be an expert at these. If you want to have an expertise with some specific tools, you can go ahead and do that, but it's not necessary for all of these tools, so don't get overwhelmed. And the reason why you have to get yourself familiar with these tools is because different clients prefer different types of tools. So, whatever your clients prefer, you will not get shocked or surprised by what a specific tool looks like. The first two calendar tools are Google Calendar and Microsoft Outlook Calendar. So, both are free. But one of the big differences between these two is Google Calendar, obviously, is in your Google account, and Microsoft Outlook Calendar is in your Microsoft account. It's on Windows and Mac OS. So going back to Google Calendar, you can see it by clicking the 9 dots here, and it's here. So the next calendar tools are Apple Calendar and Fantastical. So for Apple Calendar, if you are a Mac user, you automatically have this tool. Now, Fantastical is considered the best calendar app for its design, with super powerful and beautiful design with countless nice touches. But expectedly, of course, it's very expensive for a personal calendar. So you can use this if your client is, let's say, high level or top tier clients, and they can pay this type of tool. They can pay this for you. So it depends on your agreement, but just keep in mind that this tool is very expensive. Now, the fifth and one of the most widely used calendar tools is called Calendly. So these two are like the biggest players in the calendar management space. So we have Google Calendar and Calendly. But what are some big differences between these two? Now let's just talk about the free plan here. Okay, so for Calendly, it can sync just with one calendar tool. For example, Google Calendar, Outlook, iCloud, or Exchange. On the other hand, Google Calendar has unlimited sync functionality. So let's say, for example, here is my Calendly account. I was able to connect this to my Google Calendar. So I could sync this with just one calendar app, which is Google. After this, nothing more. I cannot sync this with any other calendar tools. So in this aspect, Google Calendar is a sure winner. But in the other aspects, Calendly has more functionalities and less limitations as well. So for instance, Calendly is highly customizable with shareable link on your website, while Google Calendar has fewer customization options. So another aspect is meeting notifications. So for Calendly, you can customize it, but for Google Calendar, it's not customizable. Okay, another better feature that Calendly has is you can invite up to 10 guests on booking page, while Google Calendar only has one guest for booking page. And for Calendly, it has unlimited co-hosts, but for Google Calendar, it only has up to 20 co-hosts. Another big difference is this. Calendly integrates natively with different video conferencing apps like Zoom or Microsoft Teams. On the other hand, Google Calendar offers only Google Meet. So meaning Google Calendar cannot be integrated with other different video conferencing apps. So if your client is focused on using different apps and tools within Google Space, Google Calendar might be the best choice for him or her. But for clients who prefer to have more customized meeting notifications and workflows, they would definitely prefer Calendly. So because of much more customizable features and functionalities of Calendly, it can support complex schedules and event types. So because of these, more users and business owners consider Calendly being better suited for groups and teams. Now we're done with the first two types of tools under basic category, which are first, tools for communication and meetings, second, tools for calendar and scheduling. Now we'll move on to the last two types of tools, which are tools for file storage and sharing and basic office tools. Now, there is a ton of options for file storage and sharing tools, but let's start off with the first three most widely used tools, which are Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive. So the first one is Google Drive, which is located within your Google Workspace. So if you go back to your Google Workspace, click on the 9 dots again, and you will see it here. This is your Google Drive. So you can also have the free plan with 15 gigabyte storage capacity. And I've been using Google Drive for years for personal and work related purposes. Now, Dropbox also offers a free plan, but it only offers 2 gigabyte storage capacity. Beyond that, you have to purchase a paid plan. So you can see here the pros and cons of Dropbox. But the highlighted part here that I would like to mention is it's expensive and overly complex. But the load speed is quite fast and it has plenty of additional features. Integrations with thousands of applications are also on this tool. Now next is Microsoft OneDrive. So it also has a free plan. So it depends on what you need from each of these tools. But for me, Google Drive is a sure winner. Now let me show you some other tools that are less commonly used, but it's also important for you to get familiar and get exposed to these tools. So we have iDrive. The next one is Proton Drive. Another one is Sync.com. The next is Apple iCloud Drive. So if you read or hear these words, you already know that these are for cloud storage and file sharing services or tools. Now let's move on to the last type of tools under basic category, which is the basic office tools. So we have two main divisions here because, again, we have two biggest players in this space. So the first big player is Google. The second big player is Microsoft. So for Google, we have Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. So for Google Docs, of course, you can see it within your Google Workspace again. It is located here. So just click on the 9 dots again and this one, Docs. So if you click on this one, you will see many different options that you can choose from. And this is mostly for text and pictures with a lot of great functionalities and features as well. And then for Google Sheet, you can see it here. Google Sheet is like the Microsoft Excel. And then if you want to see your Google Slide, you can see it here. It's like the PowerPoint version for Microsoft. So for Google, we call it Google Slides. So Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint are almost the same with Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides, with some differences, of course, with regards to functionalities and features. But generally speaking, they function almost the same. So meaning Microsoft Word is like Google Docs. Microsoft Excel is like Google Sheets. Microsoft PowerPoint is like Google Slides. So there are many reasons why Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides are sure winners. But in my own experience, based on my personal experience, Google Sheets, Docs, and Slides are much more accessible because when I was using Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint, I needed to renew the license and the password, stuff like that. And I needed to purchase that specific license. But for Google, you just have to create a new account and you can take advantage of another 15 gigabyte storage capacity for the entire workspace.
That's it for this video tutorial, and on the next video I'm going to teach you the skills and competencies that a top tier executive virtual assistant should have. So don't forget to subscribe so you will never miss any future videos. I will see you next time.